Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. The future of Germany, the future of Europe is unclear. I think it is fitting to record a video on such a misty day because I think that the situation politically, socially in Germany, in Europe, is pretty much like that. It is unclear. We have only vision right around us, but we don't see very far. We can't see what is at a distance. And I think that is pretty much like I would describe the situation right now. A lot of things are in motion. We see, for example, that the authority of Angela Merkel is dwindling. We can see that, for example, that when she met with the state governors in order to decide what to do next, what measures, what restrictions to enforce in Germany and in the individual states, we saw that Angela Merkel could not get her way. In the end, it was the powerful prince electors, not the emperor, that showed that they have the power, they have the authority. And she was angry, frustrated sometimes, because she wanted more severe, more strict regulations, more strict, longer lockdowns, and she didn't get her way because the governors are afraid that the citizens get too angry and too fed up with all these totalitarian measures by the state. On the surface level, or as a pretense, they say that they want to keep everybody healthy and safe. But more and more citizens are realizing that it is not about safety or about health issues. It is about exercising control, about confining people's space, quite literally, not figuratively. They really, they don't lock them really up at home yet, like in France or in Italy, but people are more and more restricted. It's not only that you cannot go abroad anymore, you cannot visit your families, you are not supposed to make any day trips even to other cities or to other states. Foreign license plates, or let's say out of town license plates, are looked at with suspicion already in Germany. All these things that we thought would never happen again came back really fast, and people are scared, and not necessarily scared of a virus. They are scared of what will happen with our country. People spying on their neighbors, people spying on their friends. All these things are reminiscent, especially for Germans. It brings back memories or things that we read about totalitarian systems in our past, but that we thought are something you read about in history books, not something that you would experience in your lifetime. And maybe when you compare it to some other countries, it is not that bad, or come on, in France it's worse, or in northern Italy it was way more strict. Yeah, that's very nice for you, but in Italy and France, they don't have German politicians, they don't have German bureaucrats, German authorities. German authorities, German bureaucrats, these technocrats, they don't, how should I explain that to you? They don't interpret laws in the same way. They do it 120% or not at all. And that's the scary part about them. In other countries, it's my personal experience that sometimes the law says something, but there is some wriggle room, there is some leeway, there are some occasions where the authorities make an exception, or where they would interpret the laws like a sane individual would, and not like a complete maniac, not like a computer program or a machine, a robot that only sticks to the written word. And this is the dangerous thing. When you give these regulations and these laws to German bureaucrats and tell them to enforce them, they will do it mercilessly most of the time. And this is why a rule, even though on the surface level it reads the same way, is actually more dangerous in Germany than it would be in France or Italy. That is my opinion about people who say, come on, in France it's way more strict. They don't have to deal with German authorities. Okay, I think especially in Eastern Germany, or Central Germany I should say, in the eastern part of the Federal Republic, there are a lot of people who are pretty much openly resisting now. They are put under lockdown and they're saying, we are not taking that. I read yesterday about one district in the southwest of Thuringia. It's called Hildberghausen or something like that. And yeah, they have a lot of cases per capita now. And the big news, the scary news was that there are no ICU beds, intensive care unit beds available anymore. And this China pandemic made sure that all the hospital beds are occupied and people are, they can't get a hospital bed if they need one now. Yeah, then I looked it up and I read what was actually going on there. It turns out that in that whole district, there are 8 ICU beds. 6 of these ICU beds are filled with other patients. 2 patients are tested positive for this China bug thing, and they do have severe symptoms. They need to be ventilated, but it's 2 in an entire district. Okay? So, and I looked during the summer what happened there. You have these graphics available these days. There were 2 occasions, I think, or more than that, in summer, where there were 7 beds of 8 were occupied actually, and none of them were occupied with China bug patients. That means that in this district, they have an overall shortage to begin with in terms of ICU beds. And even with other medical emergencies or cases, this district could have been overwhelmed if it was not for one more empty bed earlier this year during the summer. Okay? So this is how they phrase that. This is how they frame that. They are trying to scare people with stories like that. We're talking about 2 patients here. We're talking about 8 beds in total. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, but this is what is happening in Germany right now, and I hope that more and more people read between the lines, or they do their own research like I did, and they don't just read the headlines, but they use a search engine and at least try to figure out what is going on. What is the story behind the story? Because otherwise, you will be manipulated on a daily basis by our authorities, by our government. So, this is what I wanted to say today. I think this mist that we see here, very beautiful November landscape in Germany, is really telling a lot. It is a good comparison to the situation in our country at the moment. We are at a crossroads. Many things are undecided. There is no way to predict where this is going. The CDU, Merkel's own party, is forming not coalitions, but they work together now with the AfD at the local level, even about topics that have significance and importance on a federal scale. People are alarmed about this. They are up in arms about this. And we will see where this is going. I promise that I try to keep you updated about these things from good old Europe, from the heart, from the center of the continent. And yeah, we will see how things are going. And I'm just continuing my autumn walk here in this beautiful, misty November landscape. Catch you guys again later. Servus, Kameraden.